All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here, of course, for Haikyuu!
Episode 11.
Wah!
Yes.
And we are getting into training camp,
Yes.
I think. Yes. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah.
We've been kind of building up to that a lot. We
Yeah.
now have a team that's kind of a team.
Yes,
a coach that's kind of a coach.
Right.
And,
It's not like he wants to train them or anything, but
Babaka. Yeah. So now that they're focusing on developing at least their receiving.
Yes.
Right. They'll probably go straight from this into what, like the Neko match? Do you think they'll spend the whole episode in the training camp?
I think so. I hope so. They might even spend 2.
They might, yeah.
Because then that would like finish up the cour, you know?
Yeah.
And then they go into their first like official match for the beginning of the next part.
Right, but remember, this is still not the season.
Right, because this is a 2-cour season, right?
Well, no, I meant this is not the official starting season of their volleyball team.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is an
The
important
whole first
match.
season just gets to the beginning of their first season of volleyball.
That would actually be really cool because I think that
impressive.
I think that the show really does a good job of focusing on the characters, and
It
the more
does.
it does that, the better I think it's going to be.
Also, yeah.
It's us, but
Us.
yeah,
Oh,
it's just us.
I can't even weeb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, you can. It's all good.
Actually,
All right.
I think that is the definition of weebing.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, without further ado, let's get into this episode and see what happens.
4日後には猫バと練習試合。それが終わったらすぐにインハイ予選がやってくる。
Cool.
時間がない。でもお前らは穴だらけだ。
Haha.
そんなお前らが勝つためにやることは一つ。練習。
Yes.
練習。練習だ。
Those 3
でも
things.
ボールは拾え。こいつはすでに入る。
That means he's ready.
Right.
ほら、ラスト1本に何本やってんだ。集中しろ。もう1本。行くぞ。ナイスチーム。
Yeah.
本成功交代です
ここが合宿所か
お前ちょっと落ち着け
合宿初めてだし
一日中むさ苦しい連中と付き合わせて何が楽しいのか
しまってめえ。この大山脈の源泉のように記憶澄んだ爽やかな気がわからないな。
No, I love you.
He's amazing.
用事終わって帰っちゃうよ
Shimizu.
Yeah, they're
And of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
何やってんの君たち
Just sapped the strength right out of them.
right. And boom, they're up. The color comes back to their faces. Oh my gosh.
どうしたひなた。
He fell asleep standing up. Oh, wait.
知らない人がいる
What?
んですなんか子供
What?
Me.
見間違いだぜ。
What the frick? What is this?
Or he's intentionally screwing with him.
What?
Is this where we're gonna get a little bit of slice of life? Like where it's like them just getting terrified of the dark and stuff?
何騒いでんだ大地さんに怒られるぞ
野安さんの身長が縮んだ
Oh, wow.
髪の毛が死んだぜ。
笑ってんじゃね
Daichi.
あんまり騒ぐな
Oh my gosh.
Trying to himself in the... Oh, okay. Okay. It's
Yeah.
actually-
無駄に叫ぶと。
Yeah.
You already have shorter legs.
He already ran past where he's supposed to be going.
道間違えた
Cat? Neko! And he's even got a cat with him.
Yep.
ここらで見ないチャージだ
それ面白い
Just hopping around.
ただの暇つぶしだし
あバレエやんのそのシューズ バレーの俺もバレー部俺日向翔也
They're on opposite teams too.
Yep. And Hinata hasn't figured it out yet.
コズメケンマ
He's such low, mellow energy.
バレー好き
Yep.
It's the exact opposite of Hinata.
なんとなくやってる友達がやってるし俺いないと
Oh, he's really good.
あるし
Mm-hmm.
あー好きになったらもっと楽しいと思うけどな。
いいよどうせ高校の間やるだけだし
ポジションとか。
セッター
へえ、なんかうちのセッターとは違うな。うちのはもっとガーって感じのやつ。ちなみに俺はミドルブロッカー。
He's like, wow, how would you be a middle blocker? You're so
Yeah.
やっ
short.
ぱり変だと思う。
He's gonna tell them their whole strategy.
Right.
まあそうだろうけど別に
Oh.
俺も試合とか行くとよく言われるセッターは一番能力の高いやつがやるポジションなのになんであいつ
Wow.
Interesting.
俺特別運動得意とかじゃないし
Yeah, now they think about it, he's not that tall either.
じゃあさ、お前の学校強い？
どうだろう昔強かったらしいけど一回衰えてでも最近は強いと思うよ
Did he figure it out?
どこの
Yeah.
学校？
ケンマ黒じゃあまたね翔
See you soon. Yeah.
勝手にフラフラすんなごめん知らない土地なんだから気をつけろ
またね。
Yep. Yep.
探したぞ。
あ、すみません。
なあ、向こうのセッターなんか小さくね？
うんそれになんかヒョロヒョロしてる控えセッターなんじゃないの
学校名聞いたことないよな。
Ah, they're doing another game as well
Mhm.
before they go.
ヒョロヒョロのチビとは俺たち猫マの
Oh.
骨で心臓です
俺ら3年には来年がないです。だから
Uh,
一つでも多く勝ちたいです。次へ進む切符が欲しいです。それを取ることができるのが俺より影山なら迷わず影山を選ぶべきだと思います。
wow. What a guy.
1年の時から一緒にやってきました。
Okay.
一緒のコートに立ちたいです。ワンプレーでも多く影山が疲れた時、何かハプニングがあった時、穴埋めでも代役でも3年生なのにかわいそうって思われても試合に出られるチャンスが増えるなら何でもいい。
And he doesn't care if it's only one game.
出ることは絶対に諦めない。そのためにはよりたくさんのチャンスが欲しい。名前聞いてすみません。
菅原、
Oh, Zuga.
俺は
I knew I liked him for a reason.
Yep.
正直今お前にビビってる。
はい。
Yeah.
俺はまだ指導者として未熟だが、お前らが勝ち進むために俺にできることは全部やろう。
Awesome.
お
Yes.
願いします。
Oh, wow.
気合い入れんぞ。一回でも多く。
Daichi's gonna get fired up.
Daichi's like, I'm
What
gonna
does that
go
look
full. Yeah.
から来んのその食欲
おい食え無理やりでも食え
Yep.
この時期からそんなんでバカ
今日はよく食うな
He'll shrivel up and croak if you don't eat. Oh my gosh.
頑張んないとね。
ほらちゃんと山
Hey, look how he eat his own food. Noya is legit. I love him. Okay.
菅さんはともかく縁の下に申し訳ないとか思ってんじゃないですか。強い方がコートに立つ。これ当然です。
Survival of the fittest.
朝日さん、俺ずっとひたむきにやってきたわけじゃないです。一度逃げ出したこともあったし、だから
心身ともにエースより強くなったら正々堂々朝日さんからレギュラー奪いますよ。
Yeah,
なん
right.
ですから
そこまで
No, but that's good to yes.
先に龍か相当だ
To knock. Yep.
もういいからやめろってば。
Oh. It was Spartan, remember?
Yeah.
勝つための部活になって、
Oh.
前に使ってたみたいな俺たちはびっくりして逃げ出した。
Gotcha.
でもまたバレエがしたくて戻ってきた時には
And he'd already left.
もういなくて、
Yeah.
俺たち情けない2年だけど、戻ってこれたからには
Yes! You came back.
That's the important thing.
だから改めてよろしくな。
Yeah! Alright.
テレビで見たやつ。野安さんだけオレンジだ。目立つ。
そりゃお前、俺は主役だからな。
主役。
リベロは試合中何回もコートを
Right.
するから分かりやすいように一人だけ違うんだよ。バカ。
知ってるし。
小さな巨人が全国
Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah! He's gonna like melt into just pure happiness.
Uh-huh.
いやたまたま
Nope, just a coincidence.
Then it's destiny.
It's a coincidence.
山くん。
That little back and forth was fantastic.
過去カラスノが一番強かった時期だが、その頃カラスノは一度も猫間に勝っていない。
Oh!
負けっぱなしで終わっている。我らが因縁の相手、カラスノに女子マネージャーはいるかいな。俺はいない方に焼きそばパン。
俺はいた方が嬉しいからいる方で。僕もです。
バカ野郎、うちにはいねえのに向こうにいたら悔しいだろうが。うっかりもしかしてビッチの姉がいたりして。俺は絶対にいる。
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of not forgiving happening then.
覚悟しとけよカラスノ。おい、ケンマはどう思う？
別にどっちでも。
言うと思った。
Yeah.
でもちょっと楽しみだよね。カラスノと試合。
He expressed interest in something?
Yeah.
ケンマが試合を楽しみにしているだと。
山本、そんなに元
He's the Tanaka reverse.
Right.
増やしてやろうか。
すみません。
I don't have energy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's making his vows to the
今試合に出らんない
to the uniform. I will not let you down.
今俺が出してもらえるのはお前のトスがあるからだ。悔しいけど俺団体じゃきっと出してもらえない。風呂入ってすぐ寝る。
このクソがフライだ。
Yeah, tired just watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
知ってんの誰だ。
Square off against each other.
That's right.
Karasuno, Nekama. Fight! Ah, that's
Again.
just such a good episode.
Fun episode. Yeah.
I love Haikyuu. It's one of those shows
it's
where
great.
where every little kind of dynamic that they share between the characters reinforces their little caricature, you know, their
Yes.
little thing that they do. It gives opportunity for them to show
Right.
off how their interactions with different characters are different aspects of their caricature.
Yes.
Like,
And
it's not
like,
exactly the same. every
one of the things I want to shout out here is how they had Hinata bring up in this episode how he wanted to be able to be on the court for his own, you know, because of his own merits, not just because he's.
Oh, I know what
he's
you're going to
there with
bring
Kageyama.
up. Yep.
Um,
And how the other team doesn't have outstanding players.
Well,
So it's not that they're on
yeah.
there because of their individual merit. It's because of them all being a team.
Well, yes, I wasn't thinking.
You were
that,
going to
but,
bring up something else.
I was going to bring up something else, but I do really like that because that's.
Yeah.
But the way that they brought that up, it was something that was simple and not like it didn't have a whole lot of attention drawn to it when he first mentioned it at the
Right.
beginning of the episode, like when he was talking with the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought it up more later, so it's like, oh no, this is going to be a point of character growth.
Yes.
But the way they did it felt very natural. A lot of times it feels like in stories, particularly in anime, when they focus on a character, it can be almost kind of jarring in how much they decide to, okay, now we're
now we're going
focusing
to
on
turn
this
on
character.
focus on this
Right.
character. Yeah.
Backstory time, character development, you know, stuff like that. And
Rips you out of the whole momentum of whatever the story was going
Right.
originally.
And that's not completely bad because a lot of times the character development that you get is really good.
Yeah.
But particularly for something like this where it's supposed to feel very organic and real and all that, those kinds of like more like blended transitions.
Right.
They're really great because it helps it feel it keeps the immersion going, but it also helps it feel like you're just going through a day in these people's lives.
Yes, it is interesting how this show seems to blend the whole competitive sports aspect, the shonen aspect, and the slice of life aspect. Even sometimes to hilarious, weird effect.
Yeah, like what was that with the baby?
What
or
was
whatever?
that with the child and everything?
Yeah.
And it's like some kind of horror gag with the camera angles, and then it's Noya, but because his hair's not spiked up. That was what they were talking about?
Right, yeah.
That was just so random, and I loved it from the humor perspective.
It was great.
But it was actually quite jarring from like a story thing.
Like, whoa,
wait,
what's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah,
here?
or is this going to be one of those episodes where they like start telling ghost stories to each other and stuff? Like,
right?
yeah.
I love like Wolverine Asahi coming and be like, "Hey guys," or they're like, "Ah!" Freaking out. I actually thought it was Daichi for a second, though.
Yeah, I did too. And that would have made it even more terrifying to have Daichi come up and saying, "Shut up, Daichi might get mad." Like, you're not talking to Daichi right now.
Well, yeah, but I briefly forgot the length of Daichi's hair.
I did too, yeah.
And yeah, that would have been funny. But they focused a lot with that little interaction between Kenma and
that's his name.
Yeah,
and Hinata.
And Hinata.
Yeah.
Basically, when they gave us his name, I was like, remember that name, and I said it like 20 times in my head. Like,
well, anytime you see someone in an anime that has multiple colors of hair in their hair, even if they are naturally occurring colors, like where it could be like just like simple,
I know
like
what you're
fairly
saying.
normal dye.
You have to remember their name.
Exactly.
But I don't remember the last name, so.
Yeah, I don't know if it was ever mentioned.
But the funny thing was that he did. He mentioned his last name first, which is how they do it.
Oh.
And then he's like, and he's like, Kenma. He's like, oh, Kenma. And he immediately did the informal thing of referring to him by his first name.
That's right.
So I think that's kind of a cool thing to show that Hinata is a very...
just friendly person.
Just jovial, friendly person, yeah.
Yeah.
And Kenma is very much like a cat, by the way.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
The fact that he's just like, meh, I don't care either way.
If he was on a table, he would probably push something off of it. Like...
Yes! The idea that his character is exemplified by he only gets excited at very specific things, like...
And he doesn't really want to play volleyball, but he doesn't not want to play volleyball. It's like the cat that's like in the middle of the door.
Right.
And it's like,
I
do I want to go
out,
outside?
But I don't want to go outside.
And then it just sort of sits there
I want to
and
stay here in this state
contemplates
of
the meaning
limbo.
of the universe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they have some other characters in there that are trying to be mirrors of Karasuno characters.
Yeah, like the mirror Tanaka.
But that guy with the black hair who seemed pretty intimidating and tall, he seems pretty cool. Like, he seems like one of those character designs where you're like, ooh,
yeah, he seems
guy.
like he seems, if anything, like the mirror of Daichi.
But more intimidating.
Right.
Like,
yeah, because
Daichi,
it's a different spin on it.
Daichi can be intimidating.
Right, but even when he does do it, it's usually in a funny way.
Right, it is in a pretty funny way.
Yeah.
I think this episode did something pretty funny where they had multiple points where they would hard cut from comedic conversations involving like Nishinoya or Tsukishima or someone, and those would be interspersed with important plot relevant things. And it felt like kind of a director's choice where they had like, we're going to just jam-pack all kinds of great, funny dialogue and important little character-building dialogue all throughout this thing of them getting prepped for Nekoma and do the entire training camp bit in one episode.
And showing little bits of Nekoma playing their own game.
Yeah.
Like,
so this was a jam-packed... what could have been more of just a montage episode,
right?
Which they did have. They did have parts
totally
where
did.
they were like, "All right, training montage, everyone receive." yeah, them all doing serves back and forth. That felt very familiar. Like I haven't played volleyball seriously almost ever, but the idea of those drills and everyone running in those rotations and such, I'm like, I know what this is like. Like I've been the one like ordering people through drills and stuff, and so I felt kind of warm and fuzzy kind of looking at that for a second. I'm like, that yeah, I know what that's like and stuff like that. But
my favorite joke probably from this episode
favorite joke,
was when they're at the training camp and they're like, what's her name? You know, the manager. Yeah, she lives pretty close by, so she'll just be staying there. And then suddenly, like,
they have their little
and
heart attack, you know.
It's like they were all so positive, and they just, it's useless. Yeah.
Basically, the idea is like, how can this be slovenly? She's going to be within 500 meters of us.
Yes. Like,
500 meters is a long distance, actually. So, like, that guy's pretty hilariously creepy in his own way.
But then,
Noya,
then she shows up, and like immediately they're just like,
the color comes back to their face, and they're just like, oh.
they're not ghouls anymore, you know.
Blood started flowing to the right places again.
Yeah, well, and you when you watch that, they were like, and boing,
Ding, they're up.
They're up. It's like,
hey, I'm just saying that's probably what.
it is a way to motivate.
Probably what happened and
and
stuff. Yeah, testosterone, man. But what was I gonna say? They focused that little bit of showing how Karasuno has players with individual merit that's incredible, but they have problems and holes as a team.
Right.
And then they mirrored that with
just a
Sugawara.
solid team.
No, hold on.
No.
They mirrored that with Sugawara and Kageyama being those personifications of it. Kageyama has the individual like prowess and such like that. And Suga has the aspect of being a reliable team member. Kageyama synergizes very well with specific team members, absolutely. But it's the idea that they had to make that choice to stick with their team's thing that they have going for them in picking Kageyama, because he's just a better setter.
Yeah.
But the idea that when Kageyama needs to be taken off for whatever reason,
Suga will be right there.
And he's not going to be slacking off because he's not on the court primarily in the main rotation.
That is important.
One of the things I've seen when I've played Frisbee is there's a lot of times when you'll see people on the sidelines and they're not on the rotation of 7 on the field. And there'll be people just sitting around there messing around with their phone. And it's like, oh, I guess they really wanted to be here for the game. And then you'll see these other players that'll be like, you know, practicing, they're making their throws, they'll be kind of watching the team and play, stuff like that, sending out calls to the players in the field. And it's the idea of how actively engaged are you and how much do you want to be here. But in this guy's case, it's how much do they want to be on the court. And they had those other 3 guys come up and be like, well, we didn't really want to be on the court that much, but we came back because we realized this is what we want.
And that's great, because that's kind of a way to to introduce new characters, even though they were already on the team.
Yep.
Because it's saying like, no, this is where we're wanting to get serious, you know. And so that'll be really cool to see what they do with them moving forward.
It'll be like they can delay the true introduction to these characters later, but they've kind of given us things like their names and stuff like that for now.
Even though, based on their designs, they do seem to be more of just side characters.
Oh, yeah. Very generic.
Yeah.
But there's still some cool potential there of having a setting where Karasuno maybe has some injuries. Like, let's say Noya is the kind of person that kind of thrusts himself into, you know, crazy situations and stuff, but someone accidentally jumps on his elbow and breaks his arm. Like, he could be out for a season or something, and then suddenly they have to, you know, play on without a libero.
That would
or they have to train, like, one of these new guys. He's like, well, I'm a libero, but I'm nowhere near as good as Nishinoya, and I can't, you know.
And Nishinoya becomes, like, drill sergeant instructor.
Like, things like that can happen. Yeah. Same like what it is with Suga and Kageyama. They can have a bit where, you know, Kageyama ends up, you know, going on some kind of crazy family vacation thing that takes him away.
That was very specific.
I'm just saying, like, I just had to think of something that actually didn't injure him. That's
sure.
So I was like, oh, maybe there's a game where he ends up.
Yeah, he has family trouble or whatever. Yeah,
and Suga needs to be ready for it. He can't be like, you know, fish out of water at that one game.
I think we saw our first family member this episode. By the way,
we've seen the sister before.
We saw the sister before?
Yes, we have.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Once before.
Yeah, probably exactly once before.
Exactly once before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The food bit was really funny.
Oh, yeah.
I really loved how they were kind of chiding them about where that appetites came from, but you and I kind of know what that's like. We have monstrous appetites.
Yes.
Like,
well, and also it seemed like they were showing that the people that were especially wanting to double down and get better were making sure to eat more
because
they were basically wanting to get ready.
Right. But
Which is
you and
really
I know
cool.
what that's like from the bulking up standpoint, from the sports standpoint of really taking your body to its limit so that it needs that extra like nourishment and stuff, and then you
Until you're
literally
full and
become
then 5 more bites.
you literally just become a vacuum, and you just kind of
There's just a little black
all the
hole down
food
there. Yeah.
right. Just you have no idea where it's going.
You're making me hungry.
Right? Yeah. But I liked also that they actually showed the food. Like they took the time to show a good shot of the food, the food going into their mouths, stuff like that. So like whenever anime does food, I kind of get a little bit like, ooh,
it's
excited.
it's that subliminal messaging from Ghibli, you know? just food equals good time.
Right. Right, exactly. They did the training bit, but with them having Hinata shown to this new character, Kenma, and he's the setter, and we kind of made a note of, oh, he's low energy. He's the opposite of Hinata in that regard.
Yep.
Are they trying to show another way in which Hinata has a setter in his life that has a very opposite way of looking at things that he does, but they'll end up connecting in some way and becoming good friends?
Yeah, because the thing is that with this match that's coming up, there's inferred connections across the teams. But since this show is mostly from the perspective of Hinata, since he's the main character, we need him to have some kind of connection to the team. So it's really good that they did this. Yeah. And it can also, maybe because they're such opposites, it will allow Hinata's natural positivity and energy, it'll give it a chance to shine.
Sure.
So that maybe they'll even become friends with some of the people on the other team while their rivals and Baka don't really like each other.
Well, that's the thing. They aren't necessarily rivals by actual, like, first-hand knowledge. It's the idea of their teams
are rivals.
Their team names are more rivals than maybe their schools are rivals. But that kind of thing could lead to them becoming, like, best friends. Like, what if these guys end up playing against each other? Like, wow, you guys are really good. It's like, wow, you guys are good too. Yeah. Let's learn from each other. And they end up practicing together and becoming friends.
And that would actually be one of the best ways for them to grow, since they're the team that has no holes, but they don't excel at anything. And then they're the team that excels at a bunch of things, but then at the same time is kind of Swiss cheese.
Right. So they could have a thing where they get inspired by Kageyama and Hinata's quick attack.
Exactly.
But they also inspire... Yeah, sure. Or like Tsukishima's blocking, or Daichi's receiving, or whatever. Yeah. But they end up inspiring Karasuno on how to be a better team, and they have like a little conversation after the game of being like, let's practice together sometime in the future. I think that would be really cool. I know they're from Tokyo, I think, and then this group is more from like a different setting.
Right. I think they're still in Tokyo, but it's just like one of the many different schools.
I'm quite certain they made a point of saying, "Oh, City Boys coming out here." Remember, Tanaka was being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna teach those City Boys a lesson and stuff like that."
Okay, yeah, that.
Because he wasn't talking about Oba Josai. That was a very, very different setting. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments, but I believe these guys, Nekoma, are from Tokyo. And Karasuno is not. Like, they are not from this area. That's kind of the idea of him, like, biking to the town where the school is.
Right. Yeah, if they were in Tokyo, they'd...
They're not even close, dude. But,
they're
they're coming out here. It's kind of a big deal. That's why he was lost. He didn't get the whole environment and stuff. That's also why, if you notice, he's the first character we've seen with a smartphone. You know?
Oh.
Kenma. And it's kind of the idea that these guys be like, oh, wow, is that cool? Like, is that fun? And he's like, nah, I'm just passing time. Yeah. He's kind of already like, this amazing piece of technology he has in his hands. Like, I'm already, like, bored with it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's like, okay.
That's a nice little generational kind of chiding right there, maybe.
The first one came out 10 years ago.
Right.
And it's already like, you can't live without them kind of a thing.
Well, it was more than 10 years ago, but yeah. It was like 11 or 12 years ago.
Oh, I thought the first iPhone was 2007. But
anyways, I think you're right, but close.
Okay, now they still haven't done the first official like even scrimmage game.
Well, this will be the first official.
This will be the first one.
Yeah.
Of course, if you don't count the one in the
Abajisai
first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The very, very first match, but that was in junior high. It was her high school match. They'll be relatively official in terms of just being done fully without being a practice. But Abu Jisai felt kind of similar.
It did.
But I think the difference there was they had a player that didn't show up until the third set. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
In this case also, did you notice that they didn't show that many of Nekoma's team?
They didn't.
It seemed like their team was pretty small.
They showed like 3 people that they actually had like stand out.
I was meaning even when they showed the team in the court and stuff, it didn't seem like there were many on the sidelines either.
Oh.
Maybe that was just the camera angle.
Yeah,
it looked like there were only like 7 of them or 9 of them.
Well, there's 7 on the court.
No, there's 6 on the court.
Oh, I thought I saw 3 in front and 4 in the back.
It's 6 on the court. What you're thinking of is when they were talking about positions for Karasuno's team. You can have a rotation bit because you need someone for the libero to rotate for when they are serving. The libero does not serve.
Oh, right.
He is a sole receiver.
Yes.
So that's why they had the alternate person.
Right.
Correct me again if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but I believe you're
probably right,
and
that's why they made the point of
his color of his jersey being orange.
Yeah.
And everyone else is being a primary black color.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff, though, with the idea that a libero is that important to the team because their sole job is to get those really hard to receive spikes and also serves, of course.
Yeah.
But given that he's probably going to be in the corners generally, I would say that Daichi being in the back center is still kind of the... I don't know.
I don't know. They might have him be in the center just so that way he can choose whichever corner he needs to go to. Right,
but you still do need those people on the corners to actually receive the ball at some point.
Yeah,
I think having him in the center would make a lot of sense. But
we'll see.
The other thing I think they did a little bit too quickly was they didn't show the names in English attached to their positions, so we had to look at the shot of all of them on the court and infer by the back of their heads who was where. And the main thing that I just noticed was Kageyama was on the court as the setter, and Suga was not. Hinata was also on the court on the right side, I believe. He was the right spiker, and I think Asahi was the left wing spiker.
Gotcha.
The other ones, I think, was just Daichi
Tanaka
in the middle.
Because I remember seeing Tanaka on there.
I think Tanaka was either the back left, or he wasn't even on the field at all.
I remember seeing him on there. I just can't remember.
Okay, then he's probably back left.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out next episode.
Yeah, but there is a rotation that happens. So there's that as well.
Yeah.
Also, them being on the court was a little bit confusing because just because they're on a specific place in the court doesn't necessarily designate what their position is. It could, but because there's a rotation within volleyball, that was a little bit confusing. But hey, if we're supposed to not know what the positions are exactly yet, we just know who's the starting lineup. As to what position they, are at, that might be something we find out. I mean, you guys can correct us in the comments if that's wrong and stuff like that. We'll make sure that we end up finding out what you commented, even though we have to make sure to avoid spoilers. You guys have actually been very good, so thank you a lot. Our moderators in particular said that you guys have done a pretty good job of not spoiling things. I mean, I'm sure that there are some of you trying to spoil things and stuff, but that's why I have awesome moderators.
Yes.
Checking things out and stuff.
Yeah, they're like our liberos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nice receive. All right.
Nice kill.
Nice kill. I wanted to thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
I love that.
That was so
it stokes the competitive edge.
Right. It feels kind of Bakugo-ish, It's like I'll kill you, but it's like no, nice kill. Everyone just cheers.
You killed it. Yeah.
Yeah, you killed it. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to see the next episode of Haikyuu reactions, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon's early access.
Yes.
Get on that. Check out our Discord. Comes with that. You can chat with us about storytelling or what have you. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.